The US now officially has 4 different cryptos with spot ETFs. We have Bitcoin, which was approved in January of 2024, Ethereum, which was approved in May of 2024, and in the last 3 weeks alone, we have now officially seen a Solana spot ETF approved and an XRP spot ETF approved. And so this is major news for the entire crypto space, and now we are seeing potentially altcoin season starting to happen. And so right now we're seeing that Bitcoin's right around $100,000 per coin, and Ethereum right around $3,400 per coin. And Bitcoin is at a very important level that has been a support for the last few months. So if we look at the charts, we can see that Bitcoin right now is trading just above $100,000 per coin. And this has been a support that we have had drawn onto the charts since about December of 2024. So about 1 year now, this level has acted as a very crucial level for Bitcoin. So if we are to see Bitcoin drop below this level, I think it is very likely we could see Bitcoin drop all the way back down to around $91,000 per token. But if we're able to hold it, I think we could have a nice bounce and start to rally back towards those all-time record high prices. In addition to this, we have seen that JP Morgan has also had a pretty similar idea for what's going to happen with Bitcoin. They're saying that Bitcoin's key support right now is actually $94,000 per coin. They're saying that that is the key level of support for a different reason, and they're saying that that is because that is the production cost of mining one new Bitcoin. So they're saying that historically, however much it has cost to mine one Bitcoin is actually acted as a very strong support. So this $94,000 number falls pretty much in line with the technical analysis number of right around 91,000 as that bottom level support. So that is something that is exciting to see if that is sort of the lowest support for this bull market. But on the upside, they're saying that $170,000 is the upside case for this cycle. Now I want to quickly interrupt today's video to talk about a project that I think has a huge potential to explode. It's called Grape, symbol GRP. And Grape might be the most powerful chain ever. They have every single user node that adds 1,000 transactions per second. This ultimately means that the more users it has, the faster it gets. So we're talking about a chain that could realistically handle hundreds of millions of transactions per second, and no other chain comes even close. In addition to this is one of the only chains where you can use AI to build directly on chain. And they say AN is an AI interface that improves interaction, and ultimately you can create full apps, smart contracts, and games just by typing prompts. And that's like real AI integration that we don't see for any other major chain out there. And on top of this, they have massive announcements that are coming out every single day, and they've been teasing major partnerships with major AI companies and even a whole country. So they're letting users try their AI features before launch, and no chain is doing this. No one else is even coming close. Last few things is that GRP has about half the circulating supply of Bitcoin. So that's why it was already trading close to $1,000 per coin before any of the current updates even launched. So last thing is that this coin isn't just a new launch, it's a relaunch. And this token is available on some of the largest exchanges in the world, but when the project has its relaunch, I think it's going to go parabolic. Think about what happened with Matic when it became Polygon. GRP is right now around $1 per token, $1 to $2 per token. And as soon as it has this relaunch, I think we're going to see it jump to about $15 very soon. So if you get in today, you're at like a 15x discount. So this is really one of the cleanest setups I've seen, and something you really don't want to miss out on. Now, if we switch gears back to ETFs, there's been some massive developments with, like I said, XRP ETFs, Solana ETFs, and just ETFs in general. So we have seen the first spot XRP ETF started trading in the US on Thursday, November 13th. And this is a huge deal because the Canary XRP ETF is the first XRP ETF that has received listing approval to trade. And while we don't have the exact data on inflows or outflows, from these ETFs just yet, it's looking to be very bullish, because we have seen, for example, with Solana ETFs, that Solana spot ETFs have had 10 consecutive days of net inflows. It has been outperforming like Bitcoin and Ethereum in terms of daily inflows for their spot Solana ETFs. So like the spot Bitcoin ETFs, spot Ethereum ETFs, we've talked about these on the channel, and the last week or so hasn't been too good for these ETFs, but spot Solana ETFs have been continuing to see more and more inflows, and that ultimately just means that institutions are just doubling down and getting exposure to Solana when previously they weren't really able to. So I think that we're going to see institutions also start to invest a lot of money into XRP now that we have these spot XRP ETFs. And ultimately, I think over time, we're going to see more and more altcoins get approved. We have Bitcoin, we have Ethereum. Recently, we just had Solana and XRP in the last 3 weeks. So now that we have Solana and XRP, I think we're going to see countless other cryptocurrencies have spot ETFs approved, and that's going to ultimately bring in billions and billions of dollars into the crypto space from institutions that otherwise wouldn't have invested, because unless we have these ETFs, most institutions are going to stay away from crypto. Last thing I do want to go over is going to be what's been going on with Grayscale, because Grayscale is seeking its New York Stock Exchange debut and seeking to have its IPO. They filed for their IPO, seeking to list Class A shares on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol GRAY. And so this was according to an S-1 filing. And so the firm has reported $35 billion in assets under management as of September 30th, and they identified that the total addressable market is around $365 billion. So they've formally filed for an IPO. It hasn't happened yet. We don't have an exact date, but I think with what's been going on with ETF approvals recently, and with more positive regulatory environment for crypto, I think we are going to see Grayscale officially go public, and this could be a very, very good investment to keep an eye out on, because we saw that Circle had their IPO a while back, and that did extremely well, did like a 5x return from its initial IPO price, and I think Grayscale could be, potentially doing a similar thing. Just depends on what they list at, and depends on what their listing price and listing valuation is. But ultimately, I think Grayscale is something that you should be keeping an eye out on for its IPO, because it's one of the staples in the crypto space and something that you really can't miss out on. So ultimately, the crypto space right now, yeah, Bitcoin is down a little bit. Ethereum is down from, its all-time record highs. But if we're looking at the overall market, we're starting to see XRP ETFs. We have the Solana ETFs. And so even though things are off of their all-time record high prices, I think we could start to be seeing a shift from investments in Bitcoin and moving that money elsewhere, starting to be into some smaller cap altcoins, and we could potentially start to see altcoin season happen right now. So there's a lot of exciting things going on in the market that you really don't want to miss out on, and you just need to make sure that you are taking advantage of opportunities as you see these price dips and as you see things come about.